Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and waterways on which we are recording today. The Wurundjeri, Wairong and Bunurong people of the Eastern and Greater Kulin Nation. We pay our deepest respect to their elders, past and present, and we extend that respect to all First Nations people, and we honour that their sovereignty was never ceded to begin with. We acknowledge their enduring and unbroken connections and contributions, their storytellings, their continued fight and deep understanding and commitment to caring for the country, land, waterways, sky and culture, and communities as well. We stand with them in their ongoing calls for truth-telling, treaty sovereignty, justice, land rights and reconciliation. This was, and always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, Naarm-Melbourne may call itself the cultural capital of Australia, but yet, at the same time, it could easily lay claim to being called the legal capital too. Behind the bluestone facades of William Street, the heart of Victoria's legal system, a precinct where justice, scandal, history, and let's not forget the stunning architecture, where these elements all collide. From the Supreme Court's stately dome to the tales of daring escapes, bombings, and the landmark trials, Victorian Courts Precinct has seen it all. And believe me when I say this is far from any dry legal lecture. It's where crime meets punishment, where history is written in marble, bluestone, sandstone, and sometimes in blood. Before we begin, quick heads up for this episode. Today we'll be touching on themes of crime, violence, and capital punishment in Victoria's past. So if this is not the right time for you, I completely understand, and as always, your well-being comes first. And if you do choose to, please consider skipping, pausing, or checking out one of our other episodes. Yet, if you do choose to go with this episode, as always, remember to please listen and watch with care. Welcome to Down the Yarra, the podcast that takes you on a deep dive into the heart and soul of Naarm-Melbourne and South Central Victoria. Whether you're a local or just curious, this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Andy. Today, we're exploring one of Naarm-Melbourne's most imposing city blocks, the Victorian Courts Precinct, stretching between and across between the Trobes and Lonsdale Streets. This is truly the heart of Victoria's justice system, past, present and future. Well, so before William Street became synonymous with justice, Naarm-Melbourne's courts were scattered. The Supreme Court, the jewel in the crown, didn't always sit in the domed courtrooms like we see it today and where it is. For years, the hearings were held inside the Royal Exhibition buildings in Carlton. That never truly felt like they were proper home for law or the courts. Then in 1914 came a turning point when Naarm-Melbourne's oldest Anglican church, Old St James Cathedral, was carefully dismantled and lovingly relocated to the corner of Batman and King Streets in West Melbourne, just at the back of Flagstaff Hill and Gardens. Yes, that Flagstaff. At the same time, the government decided the Supreme Court should be shifted to its new current location of 239 William Street. Hence, the move cemented William Street as the legal axis of Naarm-Melbourne. If you walk down William Street today, you can still feel the intent here. The Supreme Court of Victoria, with its grand library dome, as well as the imposing facade, was designed to project authority and precedence. Just north and at the next door is the County Court, with its modern design representing a more contemporary approach to justice. Add in the Magistrates Court, Family Court, Children's Court, and the Fed Court, and hence you have the entire legal system crammed into a few city blocks. Even the laneways behind the courts tell stories. Once full of pubs, building houses, sly grog shops, we'll get to that in a later episode, where not only barristers, but criminals as well as everyday folk once rubbed shoulders here. This precinct has hosted some of the most famous trials in Victoria's history, from gangland wars to corruption inquiries. From political scandals to cold-blooded murders, the ghosts of capital punishment still linger here too. Death sentences were handed down here before the long walk to the gallows at not just Old Melbourne Jail in the CBD, as well as Pentridge Prison in Coburg, both respectively. Let's not forget the infamous bombing of Russell Street Police Precinct headquarters in 1986, just a stone's throw away from this very precinct. Reminder that justice itself can come under attack as well. Today, the Victorian Courts precinct is buzzing with life again and change. The new Specialist Family Violence Court, digital trials, and even decisions about how the justice system adapts to AI are reshaping what justice looks like here. There's also constant talk about whether the precinct needs to expand or decentralise. As Melbourne grows, the demand for courthouses is going up to increase. Raising the question, does William Street remain the legal epicentre forever, or will it just start to sprawl outwards like the city has itself? But the precinct isn't just about courtrooms. Oh no, themselves. It's a hub of heritage. Scrolling past the Supreme Court library, you're actually reminded that justice is not just about punishment, it's also about knowledge, precedence, and continuity. The whole area is a living museum of Victoria's legal history. Yet it's still a workplace where thousands go to every single day. Next up, on Down the Yarra, we'll be stepping just a few blocks away to St. Francis Catholic Church, near the corner of Lonsdale and Elizabeth Streets, near Melbourne Central, CBD, where St. Francis is the oldest surviving Catholic church in Melbourne, CBD. From the Gold Rush crowds to the role of shaping Melbourne's spiritual identity, St. Francis tells a story where every bit is as powerful as the court's precinct, just in a different register. Thanks for joining me on today's journey through Melbourne's legal court precinct, where justice, history, and architecture all intertwine. I'm your host, Andy. This has been Down the Yarra. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Podbean as well as our socials for more stories across Naarm, Melbourne and South Central Victoria. Because around here, history is never truly far beneath the surface.